What's up, guys? Centric here, coming at you with another commentary. And in this commentary, I am Benson Henderson. We're going up against Anthony Showtime Pettis. And I've got a special guest with me. It's Nothing But Feared on his debut on my channel this time. Instead of me being on his, go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
What's up, guys? I'm Nothing But Feared, as Centric said. And for my subscribers on my main channel, I really do apologize for not being so active. This past 2 weeks, I've been trying to do well in school. But I'm not going to really get into that, but go ahead, Cedric, and tell them what we're going to be talking about today.
We will be talking about the month of April. You know, there's a lot of fights this month and a lot of good fights, and there's just a lot of different fights that are intriguing, different matchups, and if certain guys win, what could happen with them, possibilities, stuff like that. So what I'm going to go ahead and ask you, Trevor. I'm going to call you Trevor. Because that's his name. What match intrigues you the most out of all of them?
Jones versus Sutton, hands down.
Jones versus Sutton, hands down. What makes you say that? Why
just
so?
Because there's Jones has never been taken down in the UFC. That's something interesting to see if Sutton can take him down. It's interesting to see that if Sutton can actually work his takedown or his submission defense if he gets John Jones down. Because John Jones has the most submissions in light heavyweight history.
Yeah, he does. That's true.
And so it's just such an interesting fight because honest, in all opinion, everyone's doubting Sutton and saying that he doesn't have a chance. But this fight could turn out like Anderson Silva's and Chael Sonnen's first fight in the.
Well, if you think about it, Chael Sonnen is a perfect matchup against Jones. If you think about it, if you're a fan, if you're an MMA fan, and not just a UFC fan, if you're an MMA fan, you can realize this. Sonnen has that pressure. He's not going to let John Jones pressure him back and if you watch Anderson Silva's fights, the moment the ref said, let's get it on, Chael darted across that ring, immediately got in his face. And we haven't seen anyone do that to Jones yet, and I would like to see how he handles the pressure. So I agree with you. That is a pretty intriguing matchup, and I'm excited to see it.
And, dude, on that card as well, you got Roy Nelson, Czech Congo. I'm thinking... that fight's going to be pretty interesting to see,
Roy Nelson, I think he's pretty close to a title shot. I don't think he'll get it right after the Czech Congo fight, but I think if he wins another one after that, he'll be pretty close to a title shot for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then, what do you think would happen if Michael Bisping beats Belcher, or Belcher beats Michael, or... How do you think it's going to go down?
That's tough to say. I don't think, neither of them are one win away from a title shot, that's for sure. But it depends on how devastating the win is. If it's a decision,
Yeah.
If it's a boring decision for either of them, that's not going to really put them anywhere. They both said, I've watched previews on both of them, and they both have said, they need to finish each other. So hopefully... They mean it, and that's what's going to happen. Because I think if they really want to advance again and get back up there in title contention, they're going to have to get a pretty devastating finish, one way or another.
Well, yeah, dude, that main event or that event will be so exciting to watch, Jones versus Sutton. But what do you think about Mousasi and Latifi? What do you think about that card?
Well. That's one of those fights when I got on Twitter and heard the Gustafsson got pulled from the fight, and when they were trying to figure out an opponent, I had different opponents in my mind, and then when I got on there and saw him, I was like, who the hell is this guy? I don't know who he is, and this is one of those fights where Mousasi has nothing to gain and everything to lose, but if Latifi can pull off the upset, he'll definitely be one to watch for, but I just don't know nothing about the guy at all. All I know is shit that I hear from other fighters. They say he's a strong guy with that has good wrestling and is heavy-handed. And Mousasi in the past, his Achilles heel, I guess you could say, is guys being able to take him down and hold him.
Yeah, well, there's not really too many other exciting fights in that fight. There is one though. You have Brad Pickett and Mike Easton.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah, that fight, I'm a huge Brad Pickett fan. Hang on a second. Let me pull up the fight card so I can know exactly who's on there and who's fighting. Mousasi Latifi. Alright, we've got the co-main... Oh, and Pearson versus Couture.
Ryan Couture's fighting that fight, huh?
And then Diego Brandao versus Pablo Garza. That's another one, you know.
Matt Mitrione's on the card too. He's pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah, and versus DeFries. Yeah, I mean it's a good fight card. Like the main event it's all right. They're just lucky that they have other fights on the card that can be exciting. And because if they didn't, this would really be a letdown. They would not get a lot of views off this at all. But yeah, I mean, I like it. You know, you got Ross Pearson back going against Couture. We're not going to do predictions. We're going to save that for another time. Pretty much what we're just talking about, guys, is how interesting this month is going to be. But yeah, you got Brad Pickett. You know, Brad Pickett always looks good. You know, he's coming off a loss from Eddie Wineland, who is now fighting Henderson for the interim bantamweight title. You know, and it's just. Let me see. And then we got the tough final. What do you think about that?
I think that's going to be an awesome card because you got Scott Jorgensen, Uriah Faber. Uriah Faber is always fun to watch. So is Scott Jorgensen.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you got the Ultimate Fighter coach decider, Misha Tate and Kat Zingano. And then you got Travis Brown, Gabriel Gonzaga, which is going to be an exciting fight because they both go in there to fight. I mean, Travis Brown, you know, he has that crazy Superman punch, and that's going to be fun to see.
Yeah, he's fun to watch because, like I said, he's a heavyweight, but he jumps around, you know, like he's a bantamweight.
And he goes in there to fight. He doesn't go in there to snatch a win. He goes in there to actually, like, you know, kick ass.
Yep, and the winner of the Misha Tate Kat Zingano fight will, you know, one of them, whoever wins, is going to go on to coach the next season of the Ultimate Fighter against Ronda Rousey.
Yep.
And that's going to be interesting to see. The very first girl coaches of the Ultimate Fighter. Plus, there are going to be men and women in there.
Yeah, I know.
All interesting stuff. How close do you think Faber is away from another title shot? You think if he can finish Scott Jorgensen, where do you think that puts him?
Oh man, like I don't. I think it'll put him in a good little position to beat him. Scott Jorgensen right now is currently ranked number 7 in the bantamweight division as a contender. Uriah Faber number 2 behind Henderson, which is the interim champion. So I'm thinking, that Uriah Faber would have a. I don't know. Didn't Uriah lose to Hennon?
Yes, he did. Yep.
See, I think he just needs a. I think he needs to work on his ability to get inside, because you know against those longer reach opponents, he just.
It was pretty one-sided too when he fought Barao. It wasn't close at all, really.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember that fight. Yeah, my bad. I mean, that was kind of a memory loss. But you know, I think Uriah Faber. I think if he wins this fight, I think that'll put him in good little contention. I don't think it'll put him at an immediate title shot, of course, because Scott Jorgensen's been, you know, up and down his last few fights, and
yeah, definitely.
And
then we get to the favorite. Oh, what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, bro.
Then we get to my favorite full fight card, I think, which is the Fox card. We got Benson Henderson versus Gilbert Melendez, champion versus, and you know what? It's actually Strikeforce versus UFC pretty much, because you've got Benson versus Melendez, or Henderson versus Melendez. You got Mir versus Cormier, or Cormier. You got Diaz versus Thompson, and then you got Matt Brown versus James.
Mine.
What's the? Yeah, mine. There you go. He looked impressive too in his last fight. So this is like a Strikeforce versus UFC. Ton of good fights on here. What fighter? You know, and what do you think about the Daniel Cormier Frank Mir? How do you think that? You know, what do you think Daniel Cormier is gonna do? Because me personally, I don't think he's gonna fight Kane. Even if they offered it to him, I don't think he would take it. And he's been hitting around John Jones a lot. I think if he beats Frank Mir, I think he's gonna move down to light heavyweight and take on John Jones if he beats Chael Sonnen. And if John Jones does win, this will be very interesting, because Daniel Cormier, I think he could take John Jones down as much as he wanted. You know, Daniel Cormier's wrestling is just so good. He's such a good, talented fighter. He's fast. I think he has all the tools to give problems to John Jones in any position, to be honest. So, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
Man, like Daniel Cormier, you know, I've seen some Strikeforce highlights. He is, like you said, he is a pretty talented fighter. And if he came into the UFC and actually lost to Mir, I think that would, you know, either it'd be considered a fluke, or it'd be considered just a total loss. Like everything
well,
he
it really
had
depends.
lost, you know?
It really depends on how he loses. If
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like Junior Dos Santos versus Cain Velasquez, their first fight, you know, yeah, sure, but you know, it just all depends on the circumstances, really.
I think the most interesting fight, in my opinion, that is not the Gilbert Melendez Henderson fight, is the Chad Mendes Elkins fight. Man, that is going to be interesting.
That is going to be interesting because, you know, like we were talking about before we started this, you know, Chad Mendes is on a roll right now. He is finishing people left and right, and he's doing it impressively, and he's getting it done in the first round. That Jose Aldo loss really fired him up. He's looking so good. But, you know, Darren Elkins, you know, he's a tough dude. He really is. He's tough to finish. When he fought Diego Brandao, I thought the dude was going to get knocked out, to be honest. And he took Diego's hardest punches and then beat him. And then he, of course, he finished his last guy. It was a little controversial, but I agree with it. I think, you know, it's fine that it was stopped. I'm not going to argue about it, but you know, that's going to be an interesting one. How far away do you think Chad is to another title shot?
I think if Chad wins this fight, he will get the definite title shot. He is right now ranked #1 in the featherweight division. And who does Jose have? Jose is going to fight Anthony.
Actually, we are coming up at the end of the video, guys. I'm sorry to cut you off there, Feared, but
no, that's no problem.
Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy it. We'll probably do another part to this.